Only 8% of people keep their New Year's resolutions. Failure is not an option this year. You are going to keep your New Year's resolution. Here's why. You're not going to rely on willpower. You're going to rely on a system. A simple system of 5 steps, which we're going to go over here today on today's Super You podcast. So let's bring on 2023. What do you got? Let's go, go, go.
It's one small step for man.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We choose to go to the moon, not because they are easy, but because they are
I
hard.
have a dream.
You can't handle the truth.
7,
6,
5,
3,
2,
1. Super You. Welcome to today's Super You podcast. I'm your host, Erik Qualman. Most of you know me as Equalman. Lots going on this time of year. It's a time of year where I'm still finding colored frosting. My girls love to bake. They make their own Sugar Rush episodes in our kitchen. They're amazing bakers and baconeers with that engineering talent. So it's fun, but there is a lot of frosting that I find in unusual places. So whatever's going on with you, I hope you're having a happy holiday. But we're starting to jam. We're starting to rock into 2023. And with 2023, what happens? Most of us have New Year's resolutions, and only 8% of us achieve those resolutions. The reason only 8% of us achieve it is because we go about it the wrong way. We really rely on willpower. So what we're going to go do here is I'm going to give you 5 simple steps so that you go from that 8% chance of keeping your New Year's resolution to that 95% chance. So don't just give up on it, or maybe take a smaller step and it's just that you're going to drink light beer this year. You know, that's a big thing too, is don't do what I do, which is often self-sabotage, is that when I start a new goal, all of a sudden I'm going for perfection. Let's say I go, I'm going to do a miracle morning. So now I'm going to wake up for the first 10 minutes. I'm going to lay there and think of something small that I'm grateful for. Then I'm going to do yoga for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to write in my journal for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to have a nice Zen tea. And then after that, maybe do some more yoga. And what do? All of a sudden, it's the afternoon. So my miracle morning, the only miracle about it is if I get it done before 3 p.m. So take a little hint from someone that's learned enough over the time that it's really about taking those small steps. It's about that progress over perfection. So give yourself some grace. I know, let's say that I'm trying to get in better shape. All of a sudden, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to have any sweets. And one of my things that I absolutely love is dark chocolate covered pretzels. So I'm going day after day, nothing. And all of a sudden, I break it and I have a couple of chocolate pretzels. And I go, well, what the heck? I already had 3, so why don't I finish the entire bag? And since I've already broken this contract with myself, why don't I just have a couple ice cream sandwiches as well, since the day's already shot? So again, think about progress, not perfection, so that when you have that chink in the armor, you're just like, all right, I'll have 10 dark chocolate covered pretzels. That's okay. They're worth it. Tomorrow, we're back at it. All right, so now I'm going to keep it short. And speaking about progress over perfection, you might hear my kids in the background. The girls are wrapping gifts. They're super excited about the holidays. And again, that's kind of what I want your mindset to be in 2023. If you're sitting there going, all right, I'm going to meditate, and there's noise going on, you never have your perfect moment where you have an hour blocked off and you've got the incense and the waterfall in the background, you've got nice calm music and there's no other sound in the house, most likely that's probably not possible too often. So don't just give up on it. Go, okay, today's the day I only got 30 minutes to do this. There's going to be some noise in the background, but that's okay. I'm actually going to do something. I'm not just going to give up on it. All right, without further ado, I do want to give these 5 steps. The spoiler alert is that these 5 steps are not based on willpower at all, that these are based on just systems, to put systems in place. So less than 10% of us achieve our New Year's resolution. So we've got these new goals. So how do we give ourselves a 95% chance to achieve our New Year's resolution? Now, these are coming from a study on accountability from the American Society of Training Development. And I've included these in my book, The Focus Project, which I'm rereading right now. You're like, what the heck? You reread your book? I'm like, absolutely. The whole point of that project was because my hair was on fire. I wasn't achieving big things. In fact, I was just in the busy. So I wanted to pause and figure out, what can I do to achieve big things versus busy ones? And so absolutely great time of year for me to reread my own book, The Focus Project. And when I was rereading, I go, what the heck, guys? We got to get this podcast out for these specific 5 steps that'll help others at the beginning of this year not be in that bucket of New Year's resolutions that go by the wayside. And my hope is, because what do we get? I go to the gym. I like to exercise, so I'm really fortunate that I actually enjoy it. It's kind of my meditation. But every year the gym is packed, absolutely packed, January 1st to about January 22nd. That's about when people have given up on their New Year's resolution. Now, my hope this year's different. I actually hope, even though the gym's crazy crowded, I would like it to where people can stick with that New Year's resolution. So hopefully there's a lot of people listening to this podcast, and hopefully these 5 steps help you out if you're the one that wants to go to the gym. Whatever you want to do, whatever your resolution is, whatever your goal is. All right, here's the deal. If we have an idea or goal, we have a 10% chance to achieve it. So a little different than less than 10%, but roughly you've got less than 10% chance just with the idea or the goal. We get that some little voice in our head is telling us, hey, you should do this. This would be good for you. And so we got that voice. Now, how do we go from less than 10% to 25%? Okay. Get the idea, number 1. Number 2, you decide you will actually do it. So now you've agreed with a social contract, often just in your mind, that you've decided that you'll do it. Highly recommend you got a better chance if you write it down. So write it down like, I am going to do this. So now you've got a 25% chance that you'll achieve that goal. Now, do you want to jump up to 50%? Of course we do. We want to jump up to 50%. You decide when you will do it. So that's an actual date. You've set it in stone. You've decided when you'll do it. So again, number 1, you got the idea, the goal. 2, you decide you'll actually do it. You set that social contract with yourself. 3, we decide when we're going to do it. When? Time, right? 4th. So now how do we jump from 50% to 65%? 4th, you commit to someone. This is the hardest thing to do. You commit to someone that will actually do it. You're actually telling someone that you're going to do it. The reason we don't want to do this is because now we've verbalized it. Oh gosh, now I can fail. That's why we kind of hold it secret for so long. But we can increase our chance of actually completing it when we get other people involved. That we actually tell people, hey, I've got this crazy idea. And sometimes our goals are laughable goals, what I call laughable goals, that people are actually going to laugh when you say it. Now, those people probably aren't going to be the ones that end up supporting you. The people that don't laugh and say, yeah, I think you can do that. You got all that in you. You've got it. You're going to make it happen, and I'm here to help you. So you actually commit to someone that you'll do it. Again, that's hard because what do? All of a sudden, I tell someone, hey, I've decided to write a new book. And then a month later, I see that person at the cocktail party, at the gym, and all of a sudden I go, oh no, I don't want to make eye contact with them because I go, oh geez, they're going to come over and they're going to ask me about, hey, how's the book coming? I haven't written a sentence for it. And so that's why it's important. You commit to someone, you'll do it. Not easy to do because again, now we've publicly opened ourselves up for that failure. But all of us know that listen to this Super You podcast, failure is part of the process. It's about being as flawsome as possible. All right, so how the heck do we go? Now we're at 65% if we do those 4 things. You have the idea or the goal. You decide you will do it. You decide when you'll do it, and then you commit to someone that you'll actually do it. So how do we get from 65% to a whopping 95% chance that we'll actually achieve our goal? This is it. You schedule accountability check-ins. So you schedule a check-in with people, and it could be as simple as, hey, once a month, do you mind pinging me with a text? How you doing towards your goal? How's your training going for that marathon? How's the training going for that cross-country event that you're doing, the Vasaloppet in Sweden? Whatever it is your goal is. Or it could be like, let's have some fun with it. Let's have some lunches. Let's set up some lunches. So we'll meet once a month and let's check in with these accountability check-ins. And a good thing to do is ask that person, hey, what's your goal for this year so that we can kind of tit for tat. I'll check in, you check in with me, and I'll check in with you. We'll hold each other accountable. So have some fun with that. So that gets you to 95% when you have actually someone that's in your corner that's checking in with you on accountability. Are you actually taking the steps necessary to run that marathon? So that's it. Those are the 5 items. What I'm trying to do before I summarize these, I'll summarize these 5 things quickly. One of my goals is to call 3 people per day. So to call people on the phone, 3 people, physically call them, not text them, but call 3 people per day to connect with them. It could get lonely. So I'm a huge extrovert on stage, but when I'm off the stage, I have a huge tendency to be an introvert, to kind of stay in my house, especially now everything's virtual, to write the books, just to kind of be me, have my me time, which is important. But then over the course of days and weeks, all of a sudden, I'm not having those connections. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And I've taken steps to do this before. About 5 to 10 years ago, I saw this sign. I was driving and I saw the sign that said, hey, Rotary Club meeting Thursday, 12 o'clock. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, it's kind of almost like a time machine, but this is only 5 or 10 years ago. I saw this sign. I go, how cool is that this community is going to get together, that's known they're going to get together, same spot at 12 o'clock. And this is going on for decades that they've been doing this. So I see that sign, I get inspired. I get my 8 closest friends here in Austin together and say, hey guys, we don't connect enough. Let's set up a lunch. I'll set it up, a lunch last Friday of every month, and I'll be there. Whether it's one person shows up or all 8 of us show up, I will be there. And hopefully more times than not, there's a lot of us there. But let's do that. In the first couple months, fantastic. But then over time, work starts pulling on these guys. Their family needs start pulling on them. And all of a sudden, it starts to kind of unravel a little bit. So now I got to reset that this year as well. The reason I tell you that story, this stuff isn't easy. If it was easy, it'd already be done. Like, you're embarking on something new, there's a reason probably why you haven't done it in the past. And so you've got to know going in, hey, I've got to go for progress, not perfection. I got to be persistent in the short term, but patient in the long term. So again, progress over that perfection, meaning if all of a sudden I want to eat better, I'm like, all right, let's cut the sweets out. And my vice is those dark chocolate covered pretzels. Love them. They're so good, especially with a nice ice cold glass of whole milk. Is it I'm having like Monday, I'm good. Tuesday, I'm good. Wednesday, I'm good. Thursday, I'm good. All of a sudden Friday, rough day. I'm like, I just need to kind of relax and have some I'm gonna have some chocolate covered pretzels. And all of a sudden I have 4 and I go, you know what? Heck, I've already broken that perfection, so might as well eat the entire bag. Oh, while we're at it, now that I'm done with this, why don't I look for some of that old Halloween candy that's in there, or maybe have a couple ice cream sandwiches. And so a lot of you know what I'm talking about, is that just try to keep it more contained. Go, hey, it's okay if I have a couple chocolate covered pretzels. Heck, we're not all perfect. Maybe I have 20 tonight, and that's okay. I'm going for progress, not perfection. So again, hopefully that holds true for you. And to quickly summarize those 5 steps, because remember, you don't want to rely on willpower. That's the one thing I learned from all the research we did for the Focus Project book. So here we go. The 5 steps are going to help you go from less than 10% chance of achieving your New Year's resolution to a 95% chance. Number 1, you have that idea or that goal. Number 2, you decide you'll actually do it. You have that social contract with yourself. Write it down. Number 3, you decide when you'll do it. Write it down when you'll do it. Actual dates, and put steps. Break it into small, manageable steps. Number 4, you commit to someone, you will do it. That's right. You actually verbalize it. You tell someone, you text them, you email them, hey, I am going for it. And then last but not least, number 5, to get you from 65% jumping up to 95%, you schedule accountability check-ins. And heck, this is just a good way to stay connected to some of your best friends, your best supporters. Success doesn't happen alone. It's an actual team sport. And speaking of teams, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the teams that made this podcast possible all year long. It's the amazing team that's comprised of Maritza Gutierrez, Jake Bryn, and Kelsey Gomez. And most importantly, I want to give a huge shout out to you, the listeners. Without you, there is no podcast. You keep us going. Thanks for all the kind notes and questions that you continue to send in to equalman@equalman.com. My hope is that you find these tips that we saw today. Again, I was rereading my book. And I come across this, I go, guys, we got to put together this podcast right at the new year. This is going to really help people out with their New Year's resolution. So again, I hope you found this super helpful, and I can't wait to see everyone in 2023, where we're going to go in depth to remind us all that we truly are all superheroes. We just need that courage to wear the cape. So until next time, this is Equal Man, reminding all of us, it's not what we take from the world, it is what we leave behind.
7,
6,
5,
3,
2,
1.
Super, 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 super.
Super you.